December 26th, 1996. Christmas morning in Boulder, Colorado. At 5:52 a.m., a frantic 911 call. A mother's voice, screaming. Her 6-year-old daughter was missing. A ransom note had been left. By the end of that day, JonBenét Ramsey would be found dead in her own basement. The ransom note was fake, and the killer has never been caught. What happened in that house has haunted investigators for nearly 30 years. A beauty queen child, a wealthy family, a brutal murder, and a case so mishandled we may never know the truth. Was it an intruder, or was it someone inside the house? The evidence points in every direction, and none. This is the story of JonBenét Ramsey, the child beauty queen whose murder became America's most controversial unsolved case. Boulder, Colorado, December 1996. Christmas had just passed. In a wealthy neighborhood, the Ramsey family lived in a large Tudor-style home. John Ramsey, a successful businessman. Patsy Ramsey, a former beauty queen. Their children, Burke, 9 years old, and JonBenét, 6. JonBenét Patricia Ramsey, 6 years old. Blonde hair, bright smile. Her mother had entered her in child beauty pageants, dozens of them. JonBenét won titles: Little Miss Colorado, America's Royale Miss. Photos and videos show her in makeup, gowns, performing routines far beyond her years. December 25th, 1996, Christmas Day. The Ramseys attended a party at a friend's house. They returned home around 9:30 p.m. According to the family, JonBenét fell asleep in the car. Her father carried her to bed. By 10 p.m., the house was quiet. Everyone was asleep, or so they thought. At 5:52 a.m. on December 26th, Patsy Ramsey called 911. She was hysterical. Her daughter was gone. And on the stairs, she had found a ransom note. The 911 call was chaotic. Patsy Ramsey screaming, barely coherent. She told the dispatcher her daughter had been kidnapped. There was a ransom note. Police were dispatched immediately. The ransom note was unusual, very unusual. It was nearly 3 pages long, handwritten, on paper from inside the Ramsey house, written with a pen from inside the house. And the ransom demand was oddly specific: $118,000. The note was bizarre. It addressed John Ramsey by name. It referenced his business. The exact amount demanded, $118,000, was close to John's recent bonus. The writer called themselves a small foreign faction, but the language was strange, theatrical, movie-like. We have your daughter. If you alert the authorities, she dies. Follow our instructions and she will be returned. But then, strange details, references to movies, unusual phrasing, and it was long. Ransom notes are usually brief. This was a rambling letter. Police arrived within minutes. They began searching the house. But here's where things went wrong. The house wasn't immediately sealed as a crime scene. Friends and family arrived. People walked through rooms. Potential evidence was contaminated. Hours passed. No call from kidnappers, no demands. The ransom note said they would contact John Ramsey. They never did. By afternoon, police asked John Ramsey and a family friend to search the house again, to look for anything unusual. At 1:05 p.m., John Ramsey went to the basement. He opened a small storage room, a wine cellar, and there, covered with a white blanket, was his daughter's body. JonBenét Ramsey was dead. The ransom note was a fake. There had been no kidnapping. She had been in the house the entire time. And the investigation into one of America's most controversial murders had just begun. The autopsy revealed brutal facts. JonBenét had been struck on the head with a heavy object. Her skull was fractured. She had been strangled with a garrote, a cord device, tightened around her neck. Duct tape covered her mouth. Her hands were tied. The medical examiner estimated she died between 10 p.m. on Christmas night and 2 a.m. on December 26th, while her family claimed to be sleeping upstairs. Time of death, sometime in the middle of the night, in her own home. The crime scene told a confusing story. There was a broken window in the basement, but no clear evidence of forced entry. A suitcase was positioned under the window, as if someone might have used it to climb out, or staged it to look that way. DNA evidence was found. Unidentified male DNA on JonBenét's underwear, on her pajamas. This DNA didn't match anyone in the family. It didn't match anyone in the police database. To this day, that DNA has never been identified. But the investigation was already compromised. The crime scene had been contaminated. John Ramsey had moved his daughter's body before police could document its original position. Friends and family had walked through the house. Evidence may have been lost forever. Within days, the case exploded in the media. A beautiful child, a wealthy family, Christmas, murder. It had everything the press wanted. Camera crews surrounded the house. Reporters camped outside. And theories began spreading. Almost immediately, suspicion fell on the family. The ransom note written on their paper. No evidence of break-in. The bizarre details. Police began investigating the Ramseys themselves, parents, and their 9-year-old son, Burke. John and Patsy Ramsey maintained their innocence. They took polygraph tests, hired lawyers, gave interviews. They insisted an intruder had killed their daughter. But public opinion turned against them. The media convicted them in the court of public opinion. In 1999, a grand jury heard the evidence. For over a year, they reviewed everything: testimony, forensics, theories. In October 1999, the grand jury voted. They wanted to indict John and Patsy Ramsey, but the district attorney refused. He said there wasn't enough evidence to prosecute. No charges were filed. The case went cold. Years passed. Patsy Ramsey died in 2006. She never learned who killed her daughter. John Ramsey continued proclaiming innocence. Burke Ramsey, who was 9 when his sister died, grew up under a cloud of speculation. And JonBenét's killer remained free. So what really happened? For nearly 30 years, investigators, reporters, and internet sleuths have proposed theories. Some based on evidence, some pure speculation. The truth is, we still don't know. Theory 1. Intruder. Someone broke into the house while the family slept. They wrote the ransom note ahead of time or during the crime. They assaulted and killed JonBenét in the basement, then escaped through the broken window. Evidence supporting this: the unidentified male DNA. No match to family, no match to anyone. In 2008, DNA testing advanced. The Boulder district attorney at the time, Mary Lacey, publicly apologized to the Ramsey family. She said new DNA evidence pointed away from them, toward an intruder. Evidence against this: no clear signs of forced entry. The ransom note written on paper from inside the house. The note itself, long and theatrical, doesn't fit typical ransom notes. And an intruder would have had to navigate an unfamiliar house in darkness. Theory 2. Family involvement. The theory that devastated the Ramseys. Some investigators believe the death was accidental, that someone in the house struck JonBenét, and the family staged a kidnapping to cover it up. Evidence cited: Some handwriting experts suggested the ransom note might have been written by Patsy Ramsey. The note's length and detail suggested someone with time and access. The staging elements, the garrote, the duct tape. Someone trying to make it look like an intruder. The Ramseys denied everything, vehemently. They sued media outlets that accused them, won some cases, lost others. They insisted an intruder killed their daughter, and they demanded police find that person. Burke Ramsey, the brother, faced particular scrutiny. Some theories suggested involvement. In 2016, Burke appeared on Dr. Phil and CBS. He denied any involvement. He later sued CBS for defamation. The case settled, but the cloud of suspicion never fully lifted. In recent years, new hope emerged. DNA technology advanced dramatically. In 2021, the Boulder Police Department announced they were pursuing new DNA testing using genealogy databases, the same technology that caught the Golden State Killer. In 2024, John Ramsey appeared in interviews. He's now in his 80s, still pushing for answers. He's asked Boulder police to allow outside DNA labs to use advanced genealogical testing. As of 2026, that testing is reportedly underway. The unidentified male DNA from JonBenét's clothing could be the key. If that DNA belongs to the killer, genealogy databases might identify relatives. Then investigators could narrow down suspects. It's the same process that solved dozens of cold cases. But there are complications. The DNA might be from contamination, a factory worker who made the clothing, someone who handled evidence. It might not belong to the killer at all, but it's the best lead that remains. JonBenét Ramsey would be 34 years old today. Instead, she's been 6 years old forever, frozen in beauty pageant photos, a child who never got to grow up. Her murder has become a cultural obsession. Documentaries, podcasts, books, theories. But what she deserves is justice, not speculation, not media circus. Justice. Maybe advanced DNA testing will finally provide answers. Maybe the killer will be identified. Maybe the Ramsey family will be vindicated. Or maybe this case will remain what it's been for nearly 30 years. America's most controversial unsolved murder. The beauty queen who never got to grow up. And the truth that died with her. This is Dead Silence, where the darkest mysteries refuse to stay buried.